So before we start, I just want to say that these are simply just theories and I am in no way stating that they are factual. Oh hey guys, if I look a little pale and deathly ill today, well, that's just because I'm ugly.
And I'm sorry.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a variety of theories, from memes all the way up to one of the scariest theories that I've ever heard in my life. So strap in and let's get started.
They are the new wireless earbuds.
Maybe unknowingly sharing sensitive information.
This is real. That is totally real.
Get back into life.
So as you can tell, we're talking about the Apple AirPod.
So our first theory has to do with Apple's controversial headphones called AirPods. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but when AirPods were first released, people roasted them.
We are so excited to show you a new product from Apple called Apple AirPods.
It seemed like everybody hated them, and the memes were insane. Everyone was just memeing on them, talking about how easily they would be to lose, and how basically unnecessary the concept really was. But as time went on, the negative hype kind of died out, and for a little while, it seemed like nobody was talking about AirPods. So if you couple this with the fact that iPhone sales were steadily starting to decrease, it seemed like Apple was in a bit of a funk. And when they were approaching the 2018 holiday season, it was clear that they needed a big comeback. But what could inspire this comeback? And what could bring them out of this slump? Memes. That's right, as you all know, AirPods have become one of the most viral memes of the year. But after 2 years of production, why all of a sudden did they just blow up and become a meme like this? Maybe it's because Apple started these memes. The theory goes that Apple started these AirPod memes in order to increase AirPod sales for the holiday season. And honestly, it seems kind of believable. For starters, just think about how much these memes have helped Apple. Over the past 3 months, AirPods have hit record sales and they are just selling out all over the place. And the term AirPod has been more searched this month than it was the whole entire month of its release. And that wasn't the only benefit of these memes. Like I said before, the original memes used to be about how stupid the product was, but now those are all out the door, and all the recent memes are all about how AirPod owners are wealthy and how they're above everyone else, and how they're kind of a douchebag. But you know, that doesn't even matter, because the only thing that matters to a lot of people in today's society is status, and AirPods gave you that. Now, is there any evidence that shows that Apple did this? Well, for me, the biggest thing is timing. I told you they needed a good holiday season, and it just so happens that these memes started the second week of December. That timing is definitely a little suspect there. And because of these memes, AirPods literally became the #1 item on many people's Christmas lists. So personally, I really think that this was just the case of smart marketing. And it was done in such a way that we didn't even realize we were doing the marketing and that we were being marketed to. And it's worth noting that this new style of marketing could start to become a trend, and I think it already has. I mean, just look at Bird Box. All the Bird Box memes helped that movie to become the most popular Netflix movie of all time. And it wasn't even that good. I mean, no movie that mediocre deserved such fire memes. And many people believe that Netflix was the one who started these memes. And that is one that, take it to the bank, I believe it. And I think it might be the same situation with Apple and their AirPods.
So we all know Starbucks with their Ventes and their Grandes and their pumpkin spice lattes, but here are a few things we don't know about America's favorite place to go for coffee.
So it's becoming obvious that social media has brought about this new age of marketing, and all these companies are trying to find different ways to market to you. And many people believe that one of the first companies to capitalize on this was Starbucks. The theory goes that Starbucks baristas were told to intentionally misspell your name so horribly that you take a picture and send it to all your friends. And when you do this, you're actually showing that Starbucks logo and showing that Starbucks cup to all your friends and basically doing the advertising for Starbucks. Okay, so as I'm editing this video, I started to think, I've never seen a Starbucks commercial before. And so I looked it up. They've literally never released a single commercial. So I'm starting to think that this whole method of misspelling the names is their primary mode of advertising. I mean, how else would a company become so popular and gain so much traction? This is deeper than I thought. Okay. This is real. That is totally real. I mean, there is no other way that they would misspell those names so horribly. Like, either they're doing it just to troll us, or this theory is true. I mean, those are the only two options, right? So when I first heard of this theory, I was like, you know what? Let me go to Starbucks and see if they mess my name up horribly. And I went, and guess what happened? Nothing happened. They spelled it perfectly. Yeah, I'm triggered. Don't they know I'm trying to film a conspiracy video here? But this is one that I really, really believe, but you'll have to let me know in the comments if you believe it too.
It's earned the nickname zombie deer disease, and experts say it just keeps spreading.
It causes these holes to form in the brain.
Alright guys, so this next theory is literally the scariest one that I've heard in a long time. Like, this one messed me up, and it has to do with zombie deer. Now, if you don't know, there is a new disease that's ravaging deer populations all across the United States called chronic wasting disease. And what this disease does is it rots the brain of the infected deer until it eventually dies.
And it causes these holes to form in the brain.
And when these deer are infected, they become less afraid of humans and they stop eating normal food. And instead they switch to a diet of urine and feces. It's fucking gross. But what makes this disease so scary is scientists still don't really know how it's spread. So we still aren't sure how humans can totally avoid getting it. And we also have no idea what effects it would have on humans. Would it rot our brains out? Would it make us eat pee and poop? Oh, I hope not. So because of these unknowns, scientists have told people to avoid eating any infected looking deer, or even come in contact with them in general. But here's the problem. This disease can lie dormant in deer for years without them showing any symptoms at all. So you could kill and eat a perfectly healthy looking deer that's actually a carrier of this disease, and therefore you would get it too. And worst of all, some scientists believe that deer actually spread this disease through bodily fluids. So if you eat an infected deer and then let's say you kiss your wife or you share a drink with your friend, then you could be giving that to them too. So there's a good chance that multiple people in this country have this disease right now, and they don't even know it because it's lying dormant inside of them. And once the symptoms start showing, well, who knows what happens next? I mean, this literally sounds like the start of a zombie apocalypse. I mean, this is exactly how the movie Train to Busan started. It started with an infected deer. It's literally the same situation that's happening in real life right now.
Privacy experts say people participating in the new 10-year social media challenge may be unknowingly sharing sensitive information.
All right, welcome to the rabbit hole. This next theory has got me thinking more than I've ever thought in my life. And that's not really saying much, but still. So there are twists and turns and holes to this, so guys, stay with me if you can. And if you can't, I don't blame you. This shit is crazy. So a lot of us have seen the recent trend called the 10 years challenge. I mean, virtually everyone is doing this challenge, from A-list celebrities all the way to your weird Uncle Joe. Everyone is hopping on this. And even if you didn't do this challenge, most if not all of us have done a Flashback Friday or a Throwback Thursday. But where did these trends all come from? Well, there's a theory out there that claims that social media companies actually created these challenges so that you could post pre-social media pictures for their company to see. And for this, I'm going to focus specifically on the 10 years challenge because personally, I think that's the most compelling one. So let's look at why companies would want to do this. Well, the most prominent theory is facial recognition.
Thanks to this meme, there's now a very large data set of carefully curated photos of people from roughly 10 years ago and now.
I mean, here's a challenge that clearly displays your age progression throughout 10 years. It's literally clearly marked for them, with the exact amount of time in between. This information could be incredibly useful for facial recognition, and it's all willingly being made available by millions of people. So hypothetically, Facebook could take these two pictures 10 years apart and plug them into some sort of algorithm to see what we used to look like, what we look like now, and what we're gonna look like in 10, 20, 50 years, whatever, so that they would always be able to track and recognize our face. But for me, there's another company that scares me a lot more that would have access to this public information. Google. So stay with me here. So there's a company called 23andMe where you spit into a little vial and tell you exactly where your ancestors came from and what sort of health problems you could have in the future. And many people believe that this company is hoarding our personal genetic information. which is pretty spooky considering how valuable genetics are and probably will be in the future. Okay, so what does this have to do with Google, and what does this have to do with the 10 years challenge? Well, for starters, Google is an investor in 23andMe, and not only that, but the founder of Google is married to the founder of 23andMe. So if our genetics are being hoarded, then they could probably be shared with Google because of that connection. So that would mean Google knows our genetics, Google knows how we think because of our search terms, what we watch, what we like to do, virtually everything about our personality. And if they really wanted to, they can go onto Facebook, search up the 10 years challenge, and see what we used to look like, what we look like now, and what we're going to look like in the future. Now, I'm not saying that Google is doing this for sure or is definitely going to be doing this, but my point is if Google really wanted to, they could literally access every little bit of information on us. What we're gonna look like when we're older, where we live, what we search for, who our relatives are. They could hypothetically know everything. And just the thought of that alone is terrifying. All right, so we've discussed some lighthearted theories, some terrifying theories, and some deep theories. I probably sound crazy after the last theory, so I want to end on a short one and a light one that has to do with the Mandela Effect. This one literally messed me up, and I didn't realize that this was already a popular thing, but I just discovered it a couple weeks ago. It's got me shaking. So here's my question, all right? What is the adult diaper brand that is heavily quoted in comedy? Always jokes about it, especially growing up. I remember hearing tons of jokes about this company and about these diapers. And these diapers were called Depends. Okay, that's it, right? Where's the Mandela Effect there? They're not called Depends. They are not called Depends.
Unsurpassed protection with stronger Depends.
They are called Depend. Depend. No. Literally no. This has got me heated because I know it was Depends, damn it, and you're not gonna convince me otherwise. I mean, even if you look back, there are tons of old comedy sketches on YouTube where it's Depends commercial, and these are from 12 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. But if you actually look at Depends commercial, they all say Depend.
I can get back out there doing what we love most.
It just doesn't make sense. No. It is Depends. It always will be. It always has been. So I'm going to go reevaluate my life. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you enjoyed the conspiracy style. I absolutely love conspiracies. So if you guys like them too, then I will keep making videos on them. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you soon with another video.